You can also follow her on Instagram or watch her YouTube for more information. I'll link her below too because I like her. She's my friend. No, she's not really my friend. I don't have any friends. Hi everybody. Welcome to the show. This is episode 60 and we will be planning 2022 projects. 2022. That's so weird. Be like how, because I was born in the 70s. So I clearly remember the 80s and the 90s, and then like the 2000s and the 2010s are like a blur. It's like it's all together. I can't believe it's 22 already. It's so weird. Okay. But I wonder like how if you were born at like 1900 or if you were born in 2000. So if you see, you would kind of remember the aughts a little bit, and then like, would you remember the 10s? Like you would have a clear record. Your 10s would be like my 80s, right? I have so many memories of the 80s. Anyway, it's weird how time didn't... Because I remember the millennium being a big... How am I on this tangent? The millennium was a big deal. Like Y2K was supposed to like wipe everything out and all the computers were going to die and it was going to be terrible. Then nothing happened and we were like, okay, so what now? We were not prepared to continue on from that point. Anyway, I'm wearing Bonjour from Espes Tricot, and this is the one written to patterns, so it is kind of a cowl. This was made with a halo bundle by Handmaiden and somebody else. It's linked below. You can't really see, but I overdyed it pink. I was thinking, I'm not sure I'm going to redo this. I mean, I do have a drop stitch. I have a legit drop stitch here that is hanging on. So I do at least have to redo the bind off and, pull that down. Anyway, I'm not sure how far back I'm like. I don't have to redo the whole thing. I'm thinking of redoing it. We'll see in a second. Anyway, I wanted to start with whips. So our stash project this month in my Stephen and Penelope bag. This is the bucket bag, I think. Is our top that I have not done anything. I have not touched this week. I have not touched it. So whatever. Next we have Die Project, which is the Garter Snake Cowl. That you're not going to be able to see. I finished the brioche part of it. Well, not... The brioche continues, and then you continue with brioche and garter until you eventually you do less brioche, more garter until you're just doing garter. So I'm not very far into it because once you're done with the brioche, it's kind of like a bit of a slog, and you're like, I'm not sure I want to do this, because then you have to go row by row and you have to like count. And before you know me, I like to read my work and be mindless and know where I'm going by where I've been. So now you kind of have to count at the beginning and the end, which I should probably just put stitch markers in at that point. It would probably be easier, but then I wouldn't know what row I was on. So this is now my 9 to 5, as I call it. But today I didn't work on it because I was doing something else. You still can't see the red. So here's the red. Can you see the red more now? Yeah, you can see the red here now. It's so low contrast that it's just a hint of color. I really, really like it. So this will not be done next week. Will probably be done the next week. Okay, this you have not seen yet. This is the Bonjour. Okay, we did it original, and then I modified the neck, and then I modified the neck again. This is, I'm on the very last rows of the ribbing at the bottom, so I've just started right here. So this will be done today. This will be done tonight. It will be, I'm going to finish this the rest of the today. It'll be done tonight. I'll block it, and then we're going to talk about some new cast-ons. This is made with some platinum sock that I dyed black. I'm trying to remember. I think I dyed this with Prochem. I'm not entirely sure. I don't have the notes in this notebook. And then this is, this mohair is from Haute Knit Yarn. This is Wine That Stains. And it is like obviously a burgundy wine color and some black. So I've had, so this is one strand of plain black. I just did plain black. It's superwash merino and nylon. And then the mohair together. The mohair does not have, I guess it kind of has some black, but I love I absolutely love the fabric I'm getting. If you're going to be able to see it, probably not. You know, Rebecca did this trick the other day. No, last night, Rebecca. Well, for you, not last night, but she used a flashlight. So let's see if I can show you. Oh, yes, here. Look at that. Doesn't that look gorgeous? I'm going to have to take pictures and put them on Instagram so you guys can actually see. It's so low contrast. It really, really is. It's just got this hint of burgundy through it. And what I did different in this, if you'll be able to see, took that away from the microphone. Can you see this at all? No, can you not? Oh, I put the flashlight. We're just all kinds of new stuff today. Okay, you can kind of see. I did ribbing. I did a 2x2 ribbing to match the bottom ribbing. Okay, so I'm going to direct your attention over here. So because this was curling, I decided to rib it exactly at the bottom. So I went down to the 4.5s that they tell you to do at the bottom. I went down to that for the top and did 64. And how I got that was I actually took the bottom of this one and wrapped. Remember I told you I wrapped around my neck? Like worked out how many I needed and then made sure it was a 4. Made sure it was divisible by 4 because this is a 2x2 ribbing. So I just took this 2x2 ribbing and put it up at the top in hopes that it will stay up. I'm pretty sure I did 28 rounds again, which is what I did on that one, but it's at a smaller needle size. And then before I did 1 round knit, just plain knit, in the bigger needle size. So I did the mock turtleneck ribbing on a 4.5. Next round I did on a 5, just plain knit. Because of the increases I did with those lifted ones, either the KLL or the LLI, left lifted increase. I think those are essentially the same increase. I'm not quite sure. And I don't have time to stare at them on YouTube and figure it out. But that is the increase I used because I didn't like the make one. Because it's a make one, you can use whatever you want, and that's the one I really like. So I think it's less noticeable. So on this especially, it is less noticeable. That it's still a little noticeable. So then I did it exactly like I did that one. So we're at 64. I went up to 72. Then I did another even round, right? So I did the 64, then I did one round even, just knit on the bigger size needles, just to get me to the bigger size needle. Plus I needed that knit row to make my increases for the next row, because you use the increase below, you use the round below for your increase. So I did one round knit 64 on size 5s. The next row I increased to 64 to 72, and then I did another even round of just knit. Then on the next round I did an increase to 90, which is what the original neck is. So then after I increased to 90, I did 4 rounds even, just knit, and then from there I followed the pattern. And from here what I did is, after my last, I mark the increase rounds, okay? So I mark the first stitch of an increase round because you never increase on the first stitch. So I mark the very first stitch of my increase round. So I know that round is the last when I increase, so I can count when I need my next increase. So after this last increase round, I measured both skeins, and then when I had like about 18 grams left, I went back and stopped. I stopped at the end of my thing, at the end of the round, and took a measure, and I counted how many rows I had done. And so from that measurement, you can get I had like 52 rounds. So from that, I could get a good measurement of how many grams it took per round. But that again is with the bigger needles, because you're going to go back to the shorter needles to do the ribbing. So I worked out that with the bind off that I took from this measurement, I think it was 2.3 grams for this bind off. So I added that to the 12 something it was going to take me to do 15 or 12 rounds of this. So I added 12 to whatever. So I got around 15. So, and I understand you have to realize that you're going, since I'm switching down a needle size, so the 4.5s, it's not going to take me as much. The rounds will weigh less per, so it's going to be less than, I think it was 1.05 grams for one round. So it will be less than that on the smaller needles, okay? And the bind off will be the same. Well, the bind off is never exactly the same, but the bind off was the same on bigger needles. So the bind off I know is very, very close. So the bind off I could do like 235. I would probably start my bind off at 250. That's just where I would 250. I feel confident that that's going to give me enough leeway to make it through. So the reason that I took the measurements on the bigger needles to work the smaller needles is because I'd rather have extra. So if I keep going after I do my 12 rounds, after I do 10 rounds, I'm going to remeasure, reweigh my yarn, and see what we got there and see how much we have. If we have enough to do 2 more rounds and the bind off, to see where we are, if we can add in a 13th round maybe before we do the bind off. And we'll work out there when we get there. But this is going to be finished today, so I'll be wearing this for the rest of the week, and you'll see this next week. And this was my last idea I had for this, was to do the mock turtleneck to match the bottom, just because that didn't really stay. It stays up if you're wearing it, but I don't like the look of a rolled collar. I really just don't like the look of it. It looks sloppy to me. And because I really, really like the feel of this on me and how light it is, I don't think the mock turtleneck is going to bother me. I really don't think it will. Plus, I made sure that it was, stretchy enough to do that. So that's where we're at. We're almost done. That's weird that you didn't see this at all, and then it's like, oh, it's almost done, and you're like, how are you even doing that? Yeah, this will be done tonight. And let's see what's next. Oh, I didn't tell you this bag. Oh, my charm fell off. That's my fault, because it wasn't supposed to go there. This is Allegheny Fiber Arts. This is Supernatural yarns. I have them all linked below all the time. So if you like my bags, you can just... Usually I have them marked what they are. Oh, this one doesn't have a bag. So our crochet project this month... Actually, I really enjoyed. I enjoy crocheting more than I enjoy knitting. I do, but I have ulnar nerve entrapment in my elbows, so there's something about this wrist movement that hurts me in the elbow. It's because this nerve is entrapped here, and so by the twisting it does something. So I cannot crochet for very long, and I cannot crochet tightly, which is why I do a lot of granny stitch now, because you don't have to do that tightly. Like I used to do amigurumi, was my favorite. I love doing self sculptures and toys. Because this is like the only medium I could use to make. Like I can't sculpt with like clay or Play-Doh or anything. Very bad at it. Usually my husband, who is a fine artist, TM, he has, actual degrees. He has like marble stuff that he has like chiseled or whatever they do. And it's beautiful. And I'm like I feel, like a drunken 5-year-old with Play-Doh next to him. So anyway, the fiber arts is where I shine. So I got this pattern from, the yarn we're using is the Lion Brand Tweety Stripes. I didn't tell you the colorway last time. I think I forgot you might want to know the colorway because it was so ugly. Shooting Star. Shooting Star. Okay, so this actually came from a YouTube. I used a 5.5 millimeter hook because that is what the label recommended, and I wasn't going to really worry about gauge on a dog blanket. This is, where am I? Continuous Mitered Granny Square by Play Hooky With Me, who is on YouTube, and I will link the video I used below. But instead of doing a square, I started with these 2 squares, a red square and a navy square, which you can't even tell. I probably should start with 2 the same color. Because I wanted it to actually be a rectangle, so I didn't start with square. I started with a rectangle. And this is going to be a little wonky because, it's acrylic. And so it looks like this. See the color? because I wanted to do something continuous, but I didn't want to do like a corner to corner. So it's really, you just go across the top and across one side, and that's it. And then maybe at the end I might go, you know, do like a single crochet like all the way around. Maybe I might do that. But I like the color, the way the colors are like, look at this ugly. Oh, it's so ugly. This, I mean, at least they put the hot pink, but it's still by the red. Like they put the purple by the navy and then the hot pink, and then I just think it looks disgusting. I think it looks so terrible. And then I don't know what this stripe is. This is one ball. So I got one ball done for the whole Saturday and Sunday. I got one ball done. So this is 150 grams, I think. Yeah, 150 grams, 426 yards. So this is less than worsted. How do they call this a worsted if 150 is 200, whatever, it doesn't matter. Because it's acrylic and it's anyway. So since there are 2 more weekends left in January, we'll finish January. I'm assuming I'm going to use at least one more. I'm not sure how big the blanket's going to be, because any bigger and you're not going to be able to see the whole thing at once. So I'm trying to like get over how ugly it is and just be like, it's a dog blanket just finished. Because I do like doing the stitch. I mean, it's an eternal count of 3s. You're 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So it's really boring. And then I did mess up once. I had to go back around, and I'm like, we're not doing that anymore, because now it's too big to go back and fix mistakes, and the dogs aren't going to care, and I'm certainly not going to care. So picked a pretty big crochet project for our first one, but we'll have this done because we got the 2 more weekends. So we'll do 1 weekend and the 3rd weekend we'll have this done. If I don't get, bored out of my mind beforehand. Probably not, because it actually was a nice change from knitting all the time. Squishy mail? Squishy mail. First I'm going to show you, remember I told you Virtual Fiber Festival was a couple weeks ago. So I got this was one of my things I won, because they do door prizes. This is from Forget Me Not Fibers. I'll link them below because they have some cool stuff, especially if you like fiber. Check the yardage 2 grams though, so you know what you're doing. But they have like a whole farm, like they have like farm animals like bunnies and llamas. I don't know if they have alpacas, but I know they have llamas. Oh yes, they do. Llama, Angora, alpaca, and cashmere goat blends. I'll link them below so you can. So this is a hand-dyed yarn. This is what I want. Hand-dyed yarn, Halo, 55% merino, 45% camel, 1-ply Aran weight, 135 yards. And this has a retail price of $25. I do believe Amy dyed this herself. And look at this gorgeous purples in here. You'll notice that this is blue. We know that blue is not usually one of my favorite colors. I like this blue though, because it's a cold blue, and it's pretty tonal, variegated, not variegated, tonal. It's got a lot of different, and I love this purple in here. Now what I'm going to do with this is, for sure, I'm going to do that head warmer I was wanting to do for when I shave my head in the winter and my head gets cold. And I think, what did I say this was? Merino and camel will be perfect. And because it's one ply, it's probably going to felt up a little bit. So that will be nice. Does camel felt? I don't even know. And I'm not usually a one ply person either, but when they said it and it was the door prize, I was like, oh my God, I hope I get this door prize. And then they called my name and I was like, yes, because I want it for my head. Very, very pretty. Very, very pretty. I love the bits of purple in it. Maybe that's why. That's how to get me like blue, make it a cold blue and put some purple on it. I'm really excited to, oh, it's so soft. It's so soft. It's going to feel so nice against my head. And at an Aran weight, well, that's almost a bulky weight, but you know, it should be really warm on my head. So forget-me-not fibers. Then I bought Yarn Over New York. This is Wave Hill is the base name. This is a zebra fingering weight yarn, 100% super wash, 21.5 micron merino, 100 grams, 437 yards. The colorway is black opal. I wasn't going to get this because I can make these colors. It's not very hard to do. These are sea and white. This is, okay. Use your magenta and your cyan and you get these colors. So I could do this. I don't have this base though, and I really liked this. And I was thinking I could do a cowl, one of these with this, with just a strand of black mohair with it, and see how that would work out. Because I love this teal, purple, magenta, blue, and then this other purple going, this bluish purple like indigo. So that's gonna look, there's like some pink in here, there's some mauve in here, some pinky mauve. And some red. So pretty. Really, really pretty. No, that's more mauve. Really lot of cool different shades in here. Really like this. And I don't, her stuff is a little too colorful for me usually. So I was excited to, like the only other one I wanted was something blueberry, grilled blueberries or something, but there's so much blue in it. But this was close, and then it had, you know, also had green and purple and pink. So I was like, okay, let's do this one, because I wanted to buy something from her because I won something from her at like one of the first ones, so I wanted to buy some, and she had this time. Then Ex Libris. I don't know how to say this because I assume it's like Latin or something. Who knows? But it has to do with libraries or something. Now this person, I don't know if it's a he or she or are they them, was supposed to be at the virtual fiber festival, but then when her time came, she didn't show up. So I like peruse all the makers before like the day before. I'll go through and just look at everybody and be like, who do I make sure I want to see, even though I sit through like all of them except for the one that catfished me. They catfished their yarn on me, so I won't buy from them anymore. That's like the only person I won't sit through. And if I know, like some of the people that just do fiber, I don't sit through theirs because I don't want fiber. So, But I was waiting for this person's slot. Like, I was the most excited to see them because I had never heard of them before, never seen them. And they had, first of all, this one's called Dracula. And if you don't know, that's my favorite novel in the entire world. And Bram Stoker is my favorite novelist in the entire world because of how he writes. I just love how he writes. It's so flowery and superfluous. He's gilding the lily every time, and I just love that he does that. He wrote this whole thing about snow, and I hate snow, and I was like, this is the prettiest thing I've ever read. So this is, the base is called Solnit, Solnit, S-O-L-N-I-T, Solnit. I don't know what that means. Fingering sock, 4-ply, 75 superwash merino, 25 nylon, 100 grams, 463. So this could be wool to dye for his base. And I got the same base. This is called Exquisite Corpse. So I had to get it. It is this green, gray, red, like, it's like a putrid, it reminds me of An Interview with the Vampire. When Lestat crawls out of the, where they put him in the swamp, right? And he's all gross and playing the piano. There is this green color up in here. Do you see this green here? It's so gross. It's like algae almost. Oh, it's so gross. There's like a pinky in here and some, oh, the green I just love. You know me in green. It's like a gray green. It's very, very nice. And I love it. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. I'm not sure if they would work together. I mean, maybe. There might be enough. Because you know I'm doing this low contrast thing. There might be enough there. I might have to swatch that up, do that lazy swatch, that the lazy swatch that Stephen West told you to do. I might have to do that with these. I don't know. No plan for these at all. Maybe, so I don't know. I wouldn't want to wear that green too close to my face because that's for sure going to make me look like I'm dead. But this might be. See, this has got that putrid. It's got that putrid yellow in it. Oh, I love it. It's so gross. Is that weird that I'm like, oh, these are so gross, and then I'm like, I'm going to wear them on my body. There's a stripy top that I want to make that I think is February or March's project. But I wanted to make it in some sparkle yarn. I got to check the yardage. But if I like it, I think it might be a contender for this. Okay, so that is all my squishy mail. I'll link all of them below. Okay, before we get into planning projects, we're going to have 2 planning episodes back to back because today we're planning for the year, and then tomorrow. Next week we're planning for February. So there's a lot of planning to there. Anyway, before we get there, I wanted to tell you that my Yarny Corner, who is a fellow YouTuber that I'm sure you follow, she is doing a shawl along that started on the 17th and runs until March 1st. So from now until the end of February, right? January, February, March. So February. And she wants you to tag your finished makes with hashtag MYC Shawl Along 2022. You can also follow her on Instagram or watch her YouTube for more information. I'll link her below too because I like her. She's my friend. No, she's not really my friend. I don't have any friends. So there were two. I instantly thought of, there are two skeins in my stash right now that I wanted to make shawls out of. Okay, so those two skeins are, this is Descent from Laughing Cat Fibers. Descent. This is MCN fingering 80-10-10. 425 yards, 4-ply. This is from Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And because it is MCN, which is my favorite, I wanted to make our Carrie with it. Do you remember Carrie? Carrie is a top-down triangle with some mesh on the bottom. And I think this is a good, goes good between, did you just eat the cat? Where'd she go? Oh, she's on the floor. Okay. This is a good segue, or like a good in-between shawl for spring and fall. In between, because you get the, but you still get, some lace. So, doesn't have to be warm, can be warm, can also be a little bit cooling. So because it's an MCN, I like to wear that in colder weather. So remember, Ruth was made on this same base, but from Tina's Twisted Fibers and Harlot. So these are going to look very, very similar because they're similar colored, which is a win for me because I like them. So we're going to make Carrie into set. We should have just made this Ruth. Should have been Ruth. Right? How funny. But no, Ruth is going to be Carrie. How funny. The other skein I have is Honey Girl Farms, who I love. Honey Girl Farms. This is Pure Sock, fingering, 4-ply, 100% superwash merino, 100 grams, 437 yards. This is Slytherins Are Brave 2, and if you recall, we started this as a changing staircases, right? Because I saw this on a changing staircases and I went, oh my god, I love this, but I don't want to do changing staircases. So what we're gonna do is Michelle. We're gonna do my Michelle, which is like the changing staircases, but it's top down. I got really annoyed by the jagged part. It makes it not mindless. And then I saw a picture of someone had done the changing staircases in a pure black, and I was like, that's the one I'm doing, because then I'll want it, because everything I want is plain black. So if it's plain black, I'll make it because I definitely want it. So we're gonna do this color in this shawl, and I think it's gonna look amazing. It's gonna look amazing when I wear an all black outfit, which I do a lot. God, I love these colors. It's like, I love the Slytherin colorway. Even though I'm definitely not Slytherin, I am not evil enough. I wish I was. Like, I am a Ravenclaw that desperately wants to be Slytherin. I'm not even kidding you. And then she had to go and ruin it all. So, I didn't like the books anyway. I don't like that kind of writing. I don't like the kind of, like, it's too much, what's the word? Slang that I didn't understand. And I don't like to read stuff that I don't understand. So, yeah, like early, was Dracula like 19, when was Dracula written? Yeah, 1897. I was going to say by the turn of the century, right? 1897 is easier for me. To make sense of then. I'm ridiculous. So, Slytherins are going to be Michelle, which does not. Michelle is by far not a Slytherin. Oh my goodness. But it'll look nice in this. This is Harlot, so this is close. These are close to this. This is the colorway that Ruth was made in, so this, you know, they look very, very similar. So I'll be very happy with these. So I just want to say that. So I'm going to join that knit shawl along. You can knit or crochet. I will be knitting because these were two for sure that I wanted to get done. And I didn't have an excuse, and now I have an excuse since those both count for stash. So I'll start one now, and we can drop that top project, put that on the back burner. I'll start one of those. I'll probably start Carrie first. No, maybe I'll start the Slytherin one. I don't know. It doesn't, because that one's faster. Isn't it weird the longer one is faster because of the lace? It doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm going to start those once my other cowl is done. I'm going to start that. And then the weekend we'll do the dog. I got it all handled. Don't worry. And then the top will get done when it gets done. I'm really not in a hurry to get, I'm never in a hurry to get the tops done because they're going to get done. So, buddy, what did I say your name was? Benny. Benny! You have to say it like that. Benny! Is probably going to be adopted by this time next week, so he won't be here anymore. I miss you, Benny. You're a good boy. Here you go. Sit down, Lodi. Sit down. Good boy. Okay, so I talked to his mom the other day. She's super nice. She's very excited for him. So, planning. So hopefully you did your prepping, or some of it at least. Did you guys watch Knitty Natty's, oh my god, what was it? Stash 2020. She's going to go through her whole stash. I was like having a heart attack. I was literally like, like, are you kidding me? I'm not even kidding. Okay, are you ready? Hold on, I'm going to link hers below too. My plan to eliminate stash in 2022. Y'all, she had like the most ridiculous number of skeins. I'm like, that's not even right. I'm thinking I have to have like well over 1,000 skeins in this house. Like well over 1,000. At least 1,000. At least 1,000. So I'm watching her like do this. She's giving away a sweater's quantity. She's like, does anybody want this? Just type in the comments that you want this, and I'll randomly pick somebody. And I'm like, what? So I'm sitting in bed, right, knitting, and I'm like, oh my god, I get like this sudden urge to just get up and go through everything and start getting rid of stuff I don't want. It was awful. I was like, oh my god, so bad. Because, oh, let me give you a sweater update before we go into this. I think it's snow falling off the roof. Okay. Sweater update. Remember I said I was going to redo the Witchling in Sport at the gauge I got, and I was just going to work it as it fit. Here's why I quickly abandoned that idea, because sport weight is like fingering weight and it takes forever. And I'm sitting here going, oh my God, this is taking too long, right? So I was like, F this. So it's just too much. Okay. So then I started thinking, you guys, I don't even know if that's even something I want to make anymore, because I have like a vision for my style, just what I want to wear, pieces I want to wear, the look I want. And I think the look that I aspire to, that I am falling from, goes back to my days at the goth club. I wore a lot of corsets and stuff, and boots, and so I would describe what I prefer to be Victorian Gothic, which is like ridiculous because Victorian and Edwardian, nobody knows the difference between those two. I don't like steampunk. I do not like steampunk. I don't like that. That's a little too fantasy for me. Like, I want to live like in like the Dracula novel, maybe. Maybe that's my problem. Can we go like back further in time? I don't want to be in like this alternate future with the blimp things, the Zeppelins. What are those? I don't know if those are balloon ships, whatever. That stuff just weirds me out. And the gears, I don't get it. And the clocks, I don't get it. So, but I feel like high collars, billowy sleeves, you know, that sort of like more regal, almost like more sophisticated and more less casual and less not friendly. What's the, you know, like how people, okay, here's something that has pissed me off since I got married. I've been married since 2016. I think when did we get married? 2016? I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was June 2016 we got married. And, because I wanted to wait till same-sex marriage was legal, and that's my big thing. And then I wanted to make sure I got married while a certain someone was still in office, because I'm that kind of political fan. So I love politics. Anyway, I think it was 2016. Anyway, what was the point of that? What was the point? Oh, since that day, I got married. Actually, not even that day. Since the day I changed my name. Legally changed my name because I hate my dad, and I hated having my dad's last name. Which I think is pretty universal if you're like the victim of child abuse. I think you would hate your last name. Like, it wasn't mine. You know what I mean? It was his, and I didn't want to be any part of it. Like, I absolutely hated having to write my last name out. Like, it gave me anxiety, and I hated it. And that is also part of the reason why I decided to get married, was then I could legally change my name for free without all the hassle of going to court and asking to change my name and having to do all this stuff. Because when you get married, it's an easier process to change your name. Not that I couldn't have done it, but number one, it was free. And I didn't have to go to court to do it, and I didn't have to like put anything in the paper to do it. I could just do it. Two people have called me by like Mrs. Do. And the very first person was the guy from the gas company when I called to change my name on the thing. And the second person is the person at the vet, because when I call up, I say, "Hi, this is Mrs. Do." Because I think strangers calling you by your first name, now that I'm an older woman, I didn't mind it when I was young, but now people calling me, especially people that are calling me that I don't know, that call me by my first name, call me Christina, and I go, "Who are you? Do I know you? No, then you should call me Mrs. Do." It's like a respectful thing. And 2 people have called me that, and it irritates me. So that goes into my, friendly's not the word, but like, you know, like how you had to like send a calling card or something when you couldn't just show up unannounced. Can we go back to that way of being like, I like the medical breakthroughs and technological breakthroughs we've had since then, but can we go back to that era of don't bother me and don't act like you know me if you don't? So all of that to say, I don't think I want to do the witchling anymore. So I've been looking, especially on Ravelry, for patterns that fit what I envision that I want my wardrobe to look like. And these surprisingly fit, these capes surprisingly fit in there. Oh my God, who would have thought? So they fit in there. My hairstyle obviously does not, with the shaved sides and the undercut. I have an undercut all the way around. It's not actually a mohawk. I don't know what to call my hairstyle. It's just what I do. It's like, it's what doesn't bother me. And I'm waiting for it all to go gray. And then when it all goes gray, then I'm going to cut, like when it starts to all go gray, then I'm going to cut it short. That'll be really fun. Dude, like every other day, I want to like Sinead O'Connor my hair all the time. And I've said this before. I think she's the only woman that looks good. Oh my God, are you like, oh, I feel so bad for her with her son and everything. Oh, I was actually up the other night, like thinking about it and being upset about it. Anyway, planning. Oh, so what I did was, all over the place today. What I did was, if you remember, I had a top ones. I also did a page for shawls. And I did one for sweaters. Some of them have actual names of patterns, and some of them are just yarn I have. Like top is the bulky sweater. That's the black and green one. That I'm still trying to figure out how to make it what I want, because it can be plain. Like it can be just a plain. Oh, I also wanted to tell you that I did find out there is, Elizabeth Zimmerman has a thing that all you need is it's a Knit Picks. I'll link it below because Vullen Vine just linked it on one of her things. And I was like, what? That exists? So all you need is your key number, which is your bust measurement, is your gauge, your stitches per inch, plus your bust measurement, which is what number of stitches you need for your bust with whatever ease you want. So from that, you back up and you find everything else. And it does give you this one. So that could be a contender, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do that now or not. I'm going to make the decision by next week, because next week we're planning for February. So I'm going to make the decision if I want to bother making. We'll talk about it next week. Okay. So, if you're still prepping, go ahead and make, if you have sweaters that you want to make, if you have shawls, socks, anything, tops, anything you want to make. And then of course I have For the show, I have dye projects, I have crochet projects, I have stash, crochet, dye projects, main projects, which I don't even know what our main project was today. I mean, this month it might just count that one, even though that was, I think, technically Stash Buster. Then I just have a list of projects I want to do this month. Tops, sweaters, shawls. Okay, so once you have that all worked out, you can also, if you want to make a list of like skeins you want to do, if you want to have skeins that you want to get done but you don't have a project, you can certainly make a list for that. Make a list of whatever you want to get done this year. Even if you don't have a actual pattern, if you want to make a sweater, just put sweater on the list, and then you'll get to it when you get to it. I did add something kind of big to the planned project this year, which is I decided I am going to make, I make Lola's sweaters. We have 2 other dogs that are 70 pounds, so I decided I'm going to make them sweaters using her sweaters as my gauge swatch. So that will probably be later in the year, obviously, but it's already in my head. Like, since we talked about it, I was like, okay, fine, I'll make them sweaters. Because it is really cold here when they go outside. Anyway, then what I do, okay, is I start, once I have it all worked out, like you have to have it all in a place that you want to be. And Knitty Natty did this thing where she cleared out, I'm going to do this. I'm not even kidding. I'm going to do this. She cleared out her queue. I have more than 30 pages on my queue. Like, not even kidding you. She emptied her entire queue and started over with planned projects. Such a great idea. So I was like, oh my God, I need to do that. But it's going to take me so long to clear out the queue. I don't want to do that right now. So anyway, what I do is, you guys know that I do this. I hope you're going to be able to see this. Winter. Now this is a new one because we're just in January. So, okay, so, sorry, the screen is mirrored for me, so you get to see it. So we have Garter Snake, Cowl, January Dye Project, Chonk Poncho, which of course we haven't got to, Bulky Sweater, which, don't get me started. So January Dye Project, Garter Snake, Cowl, Stash Project, Knitcrate Top, Crochet Project, Dog Blanket. January would just be our regular thing, but we actually didn't get that done. So we know, right? You know that February starts spring for me, which is why I'm not sure I want to do a bulky sweater. We'll talk about that next week. So here's spring, February, March, April, and then I have penciled in the Elfie top, sapphire cardigan, spring sporal top, V-back tee. Now, those are not dye projects. Those are just main projects that I wanted to do. So, like I said, some of these can fit in as a stash buster, and I'm actually thinking of doing a lot more stash busting projects and not buying any more yarn this year. I'm trying to fight the urge to go through my stash and dump anything I don't want that doesn't fit with my new Victorian Gothic thing that I want to do. So, you know what I mean? So once you have your planned, your prepped projects, you can go ahead, and if you want to do spring, summer, fall. Here's spring, summer, May, June, July for me. Pinch Me Top, Brookline Blouse, Ella Top, and Earth Star Shawl, which I've been trying to do for 2 years. Fall is August, September, October. Big Dog Sweaters, Hap, Mohair Sweater, Chunk Poncho, Calliope Sweater. And winter, V-neck sweater, alpaca sweater, crochet cardigan. I don't even have alpaca sweater. I don't have a project for that, but I hope by then. What did I want? Oh, this is the 3-color cashmere shawl, because I want to get that done really badly. So if you want to put them in what part of the year you're going to do them. Did I say my winter is November, December, January? Then when you get there, like I just go down my list, right? Well, not the dye projects, because that has to do for the show. So that's really by the show. So I'm really going by plan projects, 2022 plan projects, which don't really have a place. So I just went through everything I wrote down and was like, okay, the V-Baxi, when do we want to do that? I want to make sure I have that to wear for summer, right? Maybe early spring. So like Earth Star Short, definitely want to do that in the summer, right? Hap can be in the fall. So just go down and whichever, when do you want to do it? Do you want to make sure you have it done by a certain time? And then decide what time that is for you. Also, some of them, if the skills you're going to learn on one can't be done until your next one, you're going to have to take that into account. I didn't even write shorts down on here, and I wanted to do those in the spring for sure. Those are going to be done. I want those ready to wear by May. So I'm going to write shorts down here too. Once the shorts are done, we can do, we can work the sport weight tops. Remember? Because that across is the measurement we needed for the sport weight tops. So we can do sport weight tops this year. So that's super exciting. Okay, so that's how we schedule. Does that make sense to you? That's, you want to put them first in the season that you want them done in. Then when you come to that season and you break it down, like I did for January, I have January broken down, but then you would just do, I haven't broken anything down for February because we're going to do that next week, but you'll see February broken down, and then since there's 3, you can break down all 3. So when you get to the season, you can plan your whole season if you want to. I haven't, because January is the last of the year for me. So really my new year starts in February, and everything's still penciled. I have not. This is what I'm doing next week before the show. So what I do is when I hit spring, I'll look at everything I have written down and go, okay, what do I want to have done first? Because this is my February, March, April. So for sure by April, I want those shorts done for May. So the shorts we'll do in April, so I can have them, wear them in May and June and July, August, probably part of September too. And I got 2 pairs of shorts to make. So then I'll probably also in May start making the short tops, which I have yarn for. Also, if you haven't looked, Knitcrate did their early preview, and it's the same base as this that I already have, and so I'm getting a blue one to match. So excited. This is a sport chainette, which I've been holding on to until I made my sport top, so I'm super excited. So we'll have more 2 more sport tops to make. So that means in May, I'll probably do a sport top. I'll probably work out the math for the sport tops. Really exciting, isn't it? Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so I don't think I have anything else to discuss. So, I mean, the planning is really, it's really easy. And it doesn't take, the hardest thing is going through your stash and finding everything and getting it organized in a way that makes sense to you. And then you can figure out, I think the easiest part is figuring out when to do it, because it's going to tell you by what it is. Like, I'm going to be done making these pretty soon because it's going to be too hot. So I've got one planned for next week or next month's dye project, and then we probably won't see these again for a little while, for till the weather turns and I start getting excited. And then we'll make some more. Anyway, I'm going to sign off because, oh my god, this video is 1 hour and 13 minutes, and that's going to be a lot of editing for me. So great, love when I get chatty on these episodes. Anyway, shawl along. Planning, if you need help or if you have suggestions for planning, feel free to comment if you want to. I will respond. So that's it. I don't have anything else to show you. I'll be back next week with planning for February. Lots of prepping, lots of planning. It's my favorite time of the year. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.